Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Kezia Kaz. I like all things skincare, makeup and beauty, and today I'm going to do a full face of makeup using my Usage Gold product, using two palettes from my Project Pan. Well, one of them is my Project Pan palette and a Usage Gold palette. I said in my last Project Pan update that I had a slow and steady but disappointing progress. However, I have said that I feel very burnt out, very distressed. Well, not distressed, but I was quite disappointed in myself because my project for this palette, my progress for this palette, is not going very well at all. In fact, I've said I want to pan the last row of these, like this row, by the end of the year. I cannot see it happening, but I have said that there's progress in this shade because I use this as a contour shade. It's very cool toned. However, I said as well in my last video that if I hadn't have got this any good progress made in the next month, I would roll it out. I've decided not to do that. I'm going to give it a fair chance. I have got the same kind of colour story in the Sample Beauty ones. I've made better progress in this. However, these shades and the blends are not the same, so I'm going to mix my palettes up a little bit like I'm doing today. I'm going to be mixing this palette, using the shades in here, with my Usage Gold palette, which is in here. I'm thinking of doing a nice brown look. I'm going to try. I'm very into neutrals at the moment because it's getting that time of year when I will be just using neutrals like greys, browns, mostly greys, browns, blacks. So yeah, without further ado, I have just primed with my Pro Base Jelly Primer, and if I haven't said it already, I'm going to do my base, my lips and my eyes. Two foundations that I'm going to be using is from my Usage Goals, and that is my number 7 Stay Perfect and my foundation Hydrating and Radiance foundation from Natural Collection. Now, again, I just want to say that I do struggle with project planning. As I've said in my last one, I'm feeling very burnt out. While I'm talking, I'll just start. With my project planning, like, I'm literally feeling unmotivated, let's just say, to do my makeup, to be honest. My mood's not been good. I've been feeling quite low, so this is why my panning has took a bit of a fall and no progress has been made. But I'm also all over when it comes to project panning and Usage Goals, because although I'm trying to project pan my shades, I do feel like I'm really struggling. And I said in my project panning update, last update, my 11th, I'm going to use this week to just concentrate on my project panning palettes and my Usage Goals, which is exactly what I have done. I have been doing videos outside of YouTube, like just doing things in my normal time, which I have took videos for as short. I haven't uploaded them yet, but I also do things without filming them much, like doing short. I also feel like I think browns are, for me, a safety colour when it comes to makeup. Because I feel, I don't know, it's just a comfort colour. In fact, guys, I think I'm just going to stick to this foundation because I think it's looking quite nice. Yeah, I'm not going to do any more. I'm going to do my contour. In fact, I'm going to use my blends palette, and I like to just put this all over. It's called Truth. What brush shall I use? I'm going to use my new one that I got in a little set, just a cheap little set. because I don't get expensive brushes. And I'm just going to put this all over, add some colour. I prefer doing that. And I absolutely love this. If you can hear noises in the street, every time I seem to film, there always seems to be a noise. And I thought today I'm going to sit down and film, because yesterday I was supposed to film but I didn't. But again, what can you do? I'm also feeling quite disappointed in myself because of the fact that yeah, I've had to stop my makeup no buy as well. Like, I've completely decided to scrap that. And basically this is a story time. So I've said before, I'm going back to college in September, right? And normally colleges, I'm doing beauty therapy, and normally the colleges provide a beauty kit. However, you have to go and buy them. But when I went to the open day, they've said that they've stopped doing the beauty kit. The college provides some of the products, but for the makeup side of it, you've got to go out and buy it. And then I spoke to my friend who's doing the same course at a different college, and I queried this. She has said, as a makeup artist, you've got to have good quality things, which I totally understand. You're not allowed to have a broken mirror. You're not allowed to have this, this, and this. And she's been advised, as a makeup, because she does makeup outside of it, to get some certain brands for like different looks and things, because her college have started to do, obviously you've got to do certain makeup looks for a portfolio, but she's been advised to do Halloween looks, autumn I keep saying autumn looks, Christmas looks. And she's been advised by her lecturer to get certain palettes, because she has to write about the palette, why she's chosen that palette. It's not actually a college where I live, it's down south, so if they're doing a different exam board, so be it. But I got told by my other friend, who's doing the same course as me, she got advised when she first started the course to get certain palettes to do the same thing. So she decided to go and buy them. And when I spoke to the lecturer, she said, yeah, because you've got to talk about the product. So I've went out and I've decided I was going to buy makeup for college, which partly was birthday money, like with birthday money. My mum went off as on palettes for us for college. And then when I went in a few weeks ago to enroll on the course, they have said that you've got to buy good quality. And yes, they're providing the rest of the stuff, but they've said that as part of the course, you've got to be able to get this. And one of the palettes I've actually ordered, and I'm waiting for it to be delivered, a palette that I got told that a lot of students have and recommend, is the Haunted Europe palette by Nomad Cosmetics. Now, I'm going to tell you now, I love Nomad Cosmetics, so I'm kind of thrilled, because I actually ordered the American Parks one when they had the 10-year anniversary edition, and I reached out to them and showed them a look that I had done for a night out, and they actually messaged me back on Instagram straight away, and they were lovely. The couple that own Nomad Cosmetics are lovely, are really lovely. So I don't mind giving Nomad Cosmetics. However, the shipping, that's the only thing I disagree with, is shipping, but they're coming from the US, so anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go in with some highlighter from this palette here, which I got from the Poudier Cosmetics. And I'm going to go into this shade here, which I've hit pan on. and I'm just going to tap it, and I'm just going to go so yeah, I've been advised to get certain palettes for certain looks. My friend was saying that she got advised to not, because basically as well there's a stigma around college as well, and she's saying that there's a lot of people on her course, which is kind of making me feel a bit annoyed, to be honest, that basically said if you don't have the most expensive makeup in your collection, it's kind of like you're basically poor. And I know that people think that you're paying for the brand or the name, which is true, you are. But I honestly cannot stand people that think just because you get the £1 eyeshadow, for example, than the £50, okay, maybe not £1, maybe like a £5 palette to like a £50 palette. So I kind of said that I'd buy the new makeup so I didn't look as if I was just a cheapskate. And there's a lot of stigma around makeup at the moment. But there's a lot of brands as well that are just money, 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 instead of, what's the word? Instead of actual like sense, to be honest. For example, in fact, I've got 2 examples of this, and this is where story time goes. I'm just having a ramble as I get ready. So, brands that test on animals, there's a lot of them out there, but there's a lot of brands that refuse to test on animals, and fair play to them. Round of applause. I feel like if you have to put an animal in harm to make money, I think you're disgusting. And there's a lot of brands in the last 2 years, Rimmel, have turned cruelty free. I'm trying to think who else has turned cruelty. Not off the top of my head, I know, but I know Rimmel is one of them that is now PETA certified. However, I just wish brands like Maybelline and Revlon would be cruelty free, because I love those brands. However, I do not buy makeup that is tested on animals. And also, if you choose to work with people that are bad, James Charles, to get money or to promote your brand, I think you're disgusting as well. Again, I keep mentioning this YouTuber, but this YouTuber, Caitlin Costello, talks about this all the time, and she made a big thing about the thing with James Charles. That's why I don't buy from Be Perfect, because a thing was mentioned that apparently Be Perfect were going to be working with James Charles, and it caused a lot of uproar. I did actually comment on this, so I stopped supporting Be Perfect Cosmetics. I chucked all of my palettes from Be Perfect out, even if they didn't end up doing it in the end, because I've not seen anything else about it. The fact that they were actually going to and actually decided to, yeah, that's not enough. That's enough for me. Anyway, I am completely highlighted. Right, time for my eyeshadow, and again, I'm going to be using this. I am going to be using this shade, which is called Mama Bear. And I'm going to probably mix it with another colour, which is this one, which is called TikTok. And I might mix it with a bit of Split Second. In fact, I might do it different. I might go into Split Second, and then I might use that colour on the side, and I might add a bit of TikTok. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I don't think about what I'm going to do before I do them. I really need to start doing that. My brushes are fucking destroyed. My lord. And I'm going to use this brush, which is just a cheapy brush, and I'm just going to go into Split Second, and I'm just going to carve a shape. So yeah, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I think a lot of brands who test on animals really are bad. I used to buy from Clinique all the time because I loved their skincare. I used to spend thousands on skincare. I used to get the anti-blemish range until I found out that Clinique makeup test on animals, and I just wasn't having it. I was absolutely gutted. Now I'm going into this brush and I'm just going to go back into that shade. So I ditched Clinique because also as well, when I look at it, there's cheaper alternatives that don't test on animals. Like for a bar of soap out of the Clinique range, it was £41, and I found a soap that did the exact same thing for £5.50, and it was cruelty free. So really, you do get your Benefit, and that's another brand I used to wear as well, Benefit, but they test on animals, and I used to love getting my brows done at a Benefit stand in Boots. Yeah, now I don't. And this is just personal preference. You guys might not agree. This is going on really patchy, but it's fine because I'm going to shimmer over it in a minute. But one thing I will say, guys, is that I'm actually disgusted with some brands at the minute, the way that they're going on. It's really frustrating us. Now I'm going to go into this shade here, which is TikTok, and I'm just going to go into it like this. Like, there seems to be a lot of drama and a lot of hate around makeup at the minute. And a brand that seems to be getting a lot of hate at the minute is P. Louise. And as you know, guys, P. Louise is actually one of my favourite brands. One thing I will say about P. Louise is that her beauty boxes used to be £30, they're now £50. That's what people seem to be talking about. I get the money's tight for some people, but I think our products are fine. People are saying that our products are very babyish. I think we need a change for that, because what inspires me to buy makeup is the packaging and colour. Like, if I see a boring black box, like for an eyeshadow palette, but it's just in a black sleeve or something, I don't feel inspired to buy it. So for now, I'm just going to leave that eye there, and I'm going to do the other one, and I'm going to go back into that shade using the other side. As I was saying, like, I think P. Louise's packaging might look babyish to others, but I think, to be honest, I like it. And to be fair as well, with P. Louise, especially our advent calendars, they're very popular. And I think her advent calendars are always amazing. I've never had one. I've always wanted a P. Louise advent calendar. I was actually going to get one this year, but I've had to pay for other things instead. And I feel like, if I'm being honest, I think people are looking for a reason to moan. And she's there, P. Louise page is there to make money. Like, yeah, fair enough. Like, she's always bringing things out. However, it's not just makeup. She does skincare, and she makes it fun. Like, I love her bad bitch lippies. I've got them. I've got a lot of them, and to be fair, they are lovely, and I love the packaging of them. I love the little cartons that she puts them in. I think they're really fun. And I'm sick to death of people just saying that it doesn't look professional, she's not professional. At the end of the day, yes, she calls people babe all the time, and she's always putting that on a packaging. She's always writing slogans, but can we just say that Charlotte Tilbury's always calling people darling? Like, and there's a lot of drama around her as well. I don't really get Charlotte Tilbury makeup because I think it's overpriced, but that's just my personal preference. If I got, I did have a Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette, which I don't have anymore. If I got a Charlotte Tilbury thing, I might as well just take a loan out, because her palettes are so expensive. And I did like a satin foundation that she does. I've got a cheaper alternative from Collection, which I prefer, to be honest. And this makeup tutorial has just went into an absolute shambles with me just talking about random shit. I can never do this eye as good as that eye. Anyway, next I'm going to change my brush. This brush work. I'm going to go into that dark shade here, and I'm going to put this all over my lid. I think I'm going to do a dark lid. Makeup's going to fall off my bed. And this is called Mama Bear. And I'm going to mix it with depth. And yes, this colour does give me a lot of depth. And I'm just going to put it on my lid. Good Lord. I also feel as well like, with makeup being so expensive these days, I feel like it's just really difficult, because I feel like big brands like Be Perfect, Charlotte Tilbury, I think with Charlotte Tilbury, she doesn't bring a lot of stuff out, like a lot. Unless I'm living under a rock, I've not seen any new things from Charlotte Tilbury. Again, I'm living under a rock if there has been. However, I'm just getting a wipe. I'm quite annoyed that there's all the other brands trying to suit other brands, especially smaller brands. But at the same time, and I've said this constantly, I don't know every single bit of drama in the makeup world. I don't get involved in it. All I think is that if I like a makeup product, if it's cruelty free, if they're not working with bad people, then I'll buy it. But I will say there's a lot of toxicity, especially on TikTok. And I've had to keep away from TikTok recently because of how judgmental people are. I've seen a lot of comments that I just shake my head at, and they get us really angry, to be honest. I think that looks quite nice, that. I'm just going to put my phone down. I always have to pick my brush up, my phone up to... This is what the look's looking like. I'm just going to go back into Mama Bear and depth. And I'm going to use a bit of depth on my eyebrows as well. Just going to use a wipe to clean this up a little bit. And there's a lot of toxic people on YouTube as well. A lot of people being horrible in comments, and I did do a video because it's happened to me, and I've just dropped a palette on the floor, never mind. Where's that brush gone that I was using? This one. I'm going to go back into the shade from the P. Louise palette, Split Second and TikTok. I'm going to mix them up. And I'm not bringing it right down to there because this is where my eyes actually water. I'm just going to leave it to where it is. And I'm going to clean that side up. My friend as well has also decided to not do YouTube anymore because she does her makeup, and I'm not going to disclose who she is, but she has decided to not do her makeup anymore because of nasty comments and judgmental comments. I've told her, just delete them, filter them so you don't get any bad comments, but she said no because it just gets to us on a daily basis. And I says, well, that's fair enough. And I think we've got to remember, guys, we need to start being nice to each other, because the way the world is at the minute, and I keep saying this and I'm going to keep saying it, we are living in horrible times. And quite honestly, I just think, as I've said time and time again in my last video, you're the problem. If you feel like you need to big yourself up to put someone down, then you're the one with the issue. And it just means that you haven't been brought up. And yes, people are very judgmental and people will be judging. But you know what? It doesn't mean that you have to follow suit. I'm just winging this bit out. Yeah, I like that. And I keep saying as well, guys, I am not professional. I want to get better at makeup. I'm not the best at makeup, as you can probably tell. But unfortunately, I just do what I enjoy. My word. Oh my god, I've just made that flipping worse, haven't I? Right, I think that's the best as I'm going to get it. Go over my face again. So yeah, guys, I'm not being funny, but like, I didn't mean for this rant to be, this video to be a bit of a wishy-washy one. But you've had a story time and you've had a rant. Just be nice. As YouTube as well can be someone's actually full income, because people bigger than me actually use YouTube as a job. So if you're making someone feel very uncomfortable that they have to stop their YouTube channel, they might be losing their wage to keep themselves living. Anyway, I will not say any more about that because I'll start ranting again. Anyway, next I'm going to go back into that shade Depth. And I'm going to carve me eyebrows out. And I hate doing my brows on camera. Because I hate doing my brows. But at the minute I can't afford to go and get them waxed and tinted. Oh my god. Well, those certainly don't match, do they? I will actually draw them with the pen if I can find the pen. And this is from Collection, which is actually one of my favourite drugstore brands. Their foundation is, to me, a dupe of the Charlotte Tilbury one, because I'd never seen many satin foundations, and I like satin foundations, but I'm not paying £40 or however much he sells it for. It's past £20, I know that, for a satin foundation, when I can get a one for cheaper and it does the same job or even better. And I wear a lot of makeup for work, mostly neutral looks, so I want a foundation to last. And to be honest, I feel like the cheaper ones are much better than the expensive brands, but a lot of expensive brands are under the L'Oreal, or under L'Oreal, like Estee Lauder. I used to love their foundation. I found a good dupe from Primark, so I use Primark foundation, which again I think is better, but people might disagree. But as I say, I cannot buy a product if I know that the brand that I'm buying it from is actually harming animals. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. I just can't abide seeing an animal get hurt. There's other things I'd rather see products be tested on, but I'm not going to share that. Right. My brows look diabolical. Just shut my door. Should have done that in the first place. But my brows look absolutely disgusting. They really need to get done. Desperately need to be done. And at the minute, guys, I should have said I'm actually filming in my room at the moment, where I normally film in my dining room. But at the minute, just filming in my room because the lighting's better. I'm going to go back over my face, my base. I'm also having issues with, as I said, my eyes watering, so I'm not going to be doing anything in my waterline on this video. I've also said I'm going to do my lips, and I'm just going to go with my MUA gloss. It's called Nourishing Lip Gloss, and it's in the shade Obsession. I have already put this on, which is my Kiko Milano, which I haven't bought from in ages. I've already got that on my lips, but I'm going to put this on top. I kind of get my brows right. I hate doing them on camera. So yeah, guys, I'm really sorry, but my brows are absolutely shit. But my brows will never be perfect. I have got actually a scar above this brow from when I was 3. So that always gets in the way. But never mind. We move. And yeah, guys, that is the finished look. Yeah, sorry about the rambling, but as I've said, you've had a story time, you've had a rant. But yeah, I just wanted to use my project pan and stuff, and there will be more videos this week. Yeah, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.